the starters are in a good position. They're the ones that have to reduce the turnovers. They share the ball pretty darn well. We're shooting good percentages, but some of our shortcomings come in maybe making some passes that are ill-advised. Right now, our turnovers are way too high. We're in the 200s as a team in the Ken Palm in turnovers. 2 years ago, we were 47. 2 years ago, we were 7th. Last year, we were 47. Now we're like 225. So our starters really need to reduce their turnovers by not dribbling so much. We've emphasized it in practice. We've actually now have a rule, only 2 dribbles, and then either shoot it or pass it. Now, will that convert over to the games? Hopefully. The defense is challenging. Most of that comes from our bench. The subs are young, haven't played a lot of minutes, and really need to improve at that end of the floor. And we're working on that. But it's a little bit discouraging not to see progress by this time in December. We're not taking even little steps forward. We're kind of just stuck with our defense being very inconsistent. Last week against LIU, we were really locked in to start the game, and then it wasn't so good for a while. Then we got locked in later on in the game and were able to come away giving up only 49 points. Pretty much the same the week before against Notre Dame. Against Colorado, first half was a well-played half, but in the second half, we just did not guard them at all. And they're a good offensive team, but we should have defended them much better in the second half.
Other questions for Coach O? Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Okay, Adam.
So I heard you say a second ago that you feel like the team's not making the progress you want to see. You feel kind of stuck. You got 3 games, before ACC play really, gets firing. Just what do you want to see in those 3 games? The most progress, the things that you'd want to see, or the things you want to see that would progress the most?
Well, the first thing is we really need to reduce our turnovers. That's the most important thing on offense, because when we turn the ball over, we don't even get to play defense. It's a steal, it's a pass break layup for the other team. The second is the defense and the rebounding, a combination of those 2 things, where we have to show the ability to take away the paint, not give up so many layups, and still put pressure on the ball and take away the 3. Salle is a very, very good 3-point shooting team. They're 2 guards, Brickus and Brantley, are really tough guys to guard. And then they have Moreo, who comes in off the bench and can really light it up from 3. So we have to defend the 3 and still take away the paint, and we got to rebound and run.
And then I think back to the Alabama game 2 years ago. Obviously, kind of a similar, non-conference, neutral site game, kind of like the Colorado game. How much can a team learn, even mentally and stuff, not just like stuff that you need to do on the court, but like how much can a team learn about themselves from games like that?
Yeah, I'm hoping. We met as a team, and I emphasize to them how important it is to learn. Got to improve. You just can't take a beating like that, not learn why it happened. And it was the same with the Kentucky game. Played a decent first half. It was a close game at halftime. And then we just didn't show up defensively in the second half. And that's the problem, when guys think too much about their offense and not enough about their defense. And it's especially true of young guys who come in and off the bench and need to provide us with some much-needed rest for our starters, but They got to learn to defend without fouling and rebound in traffic.
Next question from Michelle Kaufman. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, Jim. I'm sorry. I'm in a car and I missed the first minute or two. I don't know if you've addressed this, but I want to ask you about, turnovers. I looked at the numbers, 15 turnovers against Kentucky and 20 turnovers against Colorado. And Wooga and Norchad, who are both players who obviously are key players, and Wooga started off so great the start of the season. Does it concern you that they've been at the end of many of those turnovers? Have you? I'm assuming that's something you've talked to them about. And then rebounding, can you just turn guys into rebounders, or is it something? What can you do to get more rebounding from players other than Norchad? Thank you.
Well, the first thing is I met with Wooga and Norchad on. Today's Friday, so it was Wednesday. And I met with Bensley Joseph. He's the third one that really needs to lower his turnover rate. I met with all of them. They understand. One of the things about players is they like to dribble. They like to put the ball on the floor and go one-on-one and try to score. But I've told them the best scoring comes when we're very efficient moving the ball and 2 dribbles or less. And we've put in a drill and we put in a rule, no more than 2 dribbles. And it's worked very well the last couple of practices. On, I think it was Tuesday we practiced and yesterday we practiced. And we did a good job with that. Will it convert to the games? That I don't know. It hasn't so far. I mentioned, I don't know if you were on when I said 2 years ago, Charlie Moore's team was 7th in the country in turnovers. Last year we were 47th in turnovers, and right now we're like 225th in turnovers. So that's a part of our game that has dramatically changed that we're trying to correct. We're using a drill called Toby, turnover ball elimination. That means if you turn the ball over, we eliminate that ball. We only have 12 balls in the rack. So if we turn the ball over 12 times in practice, then we're going to be running the rest of practice. And that day we did it, they only had 4 turnovers. So I know we're capable of reducing the turnovers. We just have to get more aware and more focused on not dribbling too much. The rebounding is a whole different story. Rebounding is a mindset. Rebounding is going after a loose ball. And you every one of your guys can rebound. We've emphasized it every single day. But when guys are thinking about their offense so much, the shot goes up, they're thinking, okay, we're going to fast break, I'm going to get down the floor. Well, no, we're not, because the other team's going to get the rebound. And that's been, again, another issue. That's why I know in the preseason polls and all the preseason hypes and the top 25, top 10 ranking, this is not the same team as we've had 2 years ago or last year. Got a lot of young guys that are learning, and we have a lot of veterans who have a lot more responsibility. And Wooga Poplar is a very good example. Norchad Omier is a very good example. They are now the leaders. They're replacing our 2 leading scorers from last year, Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong. And they have to learn what Jordan and Isaiah did to become very efficient. You don't try to do too much. You try to do very little, but do it great. Be not a jack of all trades, but a master of one. And I'm talking to them about it. They know it. I've sent them videos on it. And the idea is, and the thought of the day yesterday was, we have to improve.
Yeah, I was just, my follow-up was going to be, what's different from last year? Because those three guys you're talking about are veterans, but you just answered it, I guess. The difference is Isaiah and Jordan are not here. Those three guys are still here, but without those two, their roles are different, and they have to learn to do what Isaiah and Jordan did. I mean, that sort of answered that question. What was the difference from last year to this with those same three guys?
Well, 1 second, please. Someone just, I think he hung up. Shane, are you there? I'm doing a interview. Are you here yet? Okay. I'll call you when I get off of the interview. Yeah. That was Shane Klein-Raminsky from Bowling Green. He graduated in 1995, and he's coming to our practice today. He was the leading field goal percentage shooter in the country his senior year. He was a very, very good player. He coaches now. He does a lot of individual skill work. They just wanted to come and watch practice. But the answer is yes, their roles have changed. And with more responsibility, you get more freedom. Yeah, but with that freedom comes accountability. You got to do a better job. Not as good, you got to do better. Oh, Wooga's taking Isaiah's spot. He's our leading scorer. Well, can't turn the ball over. Norshad is now our second leading scorer. He's taken Jordan's spot. But Jordan was probably not only the most underrated player in the country, he was probably the most efficient player. Very few turnovers, very few mental mistakes.
All right, we got one more here from Marcus Benjamin. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hi, Coach L. Just wanted to ask about the bench play. Excuse me. You've had to gone into your bench maybe a little bit more than last year. How important is it that you get a significant contribution from your bench this season?
Yeah, right now that's probably the whole key to our progress. We need the guys who come in off the bench to really contribute. It doesn't have to be points. It's nice if it is additional points, but it has to be defense and rebounding. If you look at the four guys who come in off the bench, Keyshawn George is 6'8". He's taller than any of our starters. Christian Watson, he's 6'7". He's as tall as any of our starters. AJ Casey, he's 6'8". He's taller than any of our starters. And Michael Nwako's 6'10". He's the tallest guy on the team. So those four guys, our emphasis for them is, hey, you got to defend and rebound. You got more size than the starters do. If you don't defend and rebound, you can't really help us. The scoring really is going to come primarily from our starters. A sub can get maybe 6 or 8 points. On occasion, Keyshawn George had 13 last week against LIU, but that's unusual for a guy off the bench to score in double figures. But it's not unusual for the starters, all 5 of them, to be in double figures. So the starters got to produce the points and get us out in front. The subs got to come in and maintain that position and do it with their defense and rebounding.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. We will have Christian Watson in here very, very soon.